Truth seekers, let me start out by saying your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. We got a great conversation we're going to have here tonight for you. So get ready because I'm going to take you a place that what I call is the familiar, but at the same time, it's in your face, but it also reaches not the conscious and subconscious, but all the way down to the collective unconscious. So again, get ready. We're going to get right into this conversation tonight. We're going to talk a little symbolism for you, and we're going to tie it in once again to the modern day stuff that's happening all the way back to the ancient cultures to get you going. But let me get right back into the conversation so that you can understand once again where we're going. Anyway, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Now, I take that, and we're live tonight. I just want y'all to know it's Tuesday night. We're here at Forbidden Knowledge. And we're live. We're here live. So I'll be monitoring the chat and everything else. But anyway, listen, when you hear me say your eyes are useless when your mind is blind, that is saying that oftentimes people take the position and they'll say things like, I have to see it to believe it. And when you adapt that as your policy of your conscious mind, and when the elites and all these other people are tapping into your subconscious and deeply unconscious or collective unconscious, then they can manipulate what your eyes see, and therefore you're not going to understand and believe what you're supposed to be believing. And oftentimes I'll just leave you with this information, but I think that a lot of people don't understand. How can I put this more clearly? You know what you think, right? Or you think what you know. But anyway, you know what you think. And when you not thinking right or don't have the right information, then it's not going to add up once it gets down to where, just normal. Okay, so let's get into the conversation right now. And I'm going to go to where we're going. All right, I'm gonna first start out with this particular symbol. You all seen it. You all kind of know what it is. Even it resonate with you on a level of success because it's been deemed that way. It's been actually put into the structure ever since it was there. And if you don't know what that is, we're talking about the Bentley logo. Now we're going to tie this into ancient symbolism in a few minutes. So just stick around as we continue to go down the rabbit hole here. But I want you to understand, have you ever wondered, there's a few things about this thing and maybe why you feel a certain way or why people have it listed as the wherewithal or the success or positioning themselves saying, hey, you got your Bentley, then obviously life is that. But we're going to tie it in, though. We're going to tie it into modern day symbolism and everything else. But we all know that this symbol and what it is, I just without saying, I mean, I think everybody knows that it's the flying bee when it comes down to it. It's a mark of status, the mark of wealth, it's the mark of motion. But why the wings, though? Why did they choose the wing? Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm going to get right into it for you in a few moments. But why the ancient motifs on modern day machines? And it's happening all over the place. It really is. And my question is, could this be a little more than branding? So I want you to take a moment. I want you to look at this. That you've seen this particular branding right here all the way. Also, I want you to understand that the Bentley emblem is wing, it's elegant, it's floating atop of machines, worth more than most people's homes when you start thinking about Bentleys when it comes down to this. But we're also going to tie this into Carl Jung or Jungian psychology too. Symbols, as we know, symbols are like psychic seeds, and that's where we've been heading lately anyway, into symbolism. They tap into what is called the collective unconscious, and it's a deep ancient, I want to say it again, ancient part of the mind, and it's shared across all cultures, people. It's shared across all cultures. So if the symbols are psychic technology and corporations hire teams of people to create these things, then it's a reason why they work. And then I'll hint to you later, make sure you stick around to where it is time for you to make a change in emotion, and we'll get right into that as well. So also, let's get into more deeper into tonight's show and as we continue. Now, just a little quick history. All right. Founded in 1919, the World War, or not World, but W.O. Bentley, that's his name, back in England. Now, this, again, it was known for British racing. It was known for, for speed, elegance, and a lot of things. When people start saying, hey, I want a Bentley, do I own a Bentley? But once again, there was a narrative behind this. And then also, I want you to understand that it is deeper than what we're doing. But here's what things get a little interesting, because when something is refined, that polish, it starts to feel what I consider curated. And like a story, it's meant to believe and not question. But what if I told you that it wasn't just a design choice? This was the wings, and why that they picked this, and it begs a deeper question. So just stick with the story. We're going to go deep in here for you tonight. And as this is designed, this has been around for 100 years. So all I'm saying is, let's go deep and find. Now, it ties into the Mayat or whatever. Now, a lot of people confuse this with ISIS. I'll show you a symbol of ISIS here in a moment. But anyway, Mayat, right? And this is the Egyptian symbol. And it has a lot of surface meaning, internal meaning, unconscious meaning, and it's tied into archetypes all across the world. And it is in your embedded archetype as well. And so how do they tap into that? I'm glad you asked. We will talk about it right now as we go further here. So right off the bat, when you look at this flying bee, it mirrors ancient Egyptian wing symbols, okay? Mayat, the goddess of truth, balance, and cosmic law. Her wings adorn temples, tombs, and initiation rites. But the question is Bentley echoing an archetype older than empires? Now, some of you may be looking at this and saying, well, Roderick, where does this matter? Well, I want you to know that it really matters, because at some point you have to realize that your unconscious now, okay, and we'll get into that in a little bit too, where you have your conscious, unconscious, or subconscious, and then you have your collective unconscious. And the collective unconscious is so far deep down that a lot of people don't even know it exists in some cases. They just think of unconscious, right? But this is actually inherited back into premortal days. So when back to the beginning of time, once you start thinking about it. So don't let it get it twisted that these things are working. But when you look at this Bentley logo on the top and the Mayat down there on the bottom, you will understand that the goddess of balance, cosmic justice, look at the wings, right? Look at the posture, the mirrored symmetry. And do you really think this is a coincidence by them? Absolutely not. It really not. And I'm going to prove that to you as we go further down here. Mayat wasn't just a myth when you go back down to those cultures. She was law itself. And not human law, but we're talking about divine order. When you think about it, Egyptians believed that all truth, morality, cosmic balance, all were personified through her wings. It was the wings, right? And she sat in judgment of souls at the afterlife, weighing their hearts against the feather of truth. And I'm sure you all heard that story. So even if we never studied Egypt, back in the Egyptian times, something in us does remembers, because symbols is live in the collective unconscious. And let me kind of say this again to you in more of a better way. Some of you may not even, you don't have to study, go back into Egypt or ancient Egypt. When you see symbols like this, it's going to tap into you way back and way down low into the collective unconscious, back into the primordial inherited. It was inherited, and it's in everybody across all cultures, right? And so therefore it don't take you to study it to feel it or to resonate with it over time. It just doesn't happen. You just need to see it in repeat when it comes down to this. So here's the question: why would modern luxury brands choose this ancient, not once, not as marketing gimmick, but as a core identity over 100 years? And of course, the question will be, could it be that Bentley isn't just invoking speed, but also invoking power, authority, and what I would consider divine favor? They're tapping into that so they can get the divine favor. And so that's pretty interesting once you start looking down into it, and pretty much. So real quickly, I do have a couple of very quick messages that I want to just kind of put up here for you guys real quickly. So let me just do it. All right. So as you know, in Dallas, we having our Dallas meetups or our Dallas conspiracy and conscious meetup. They're free for you to come. The next one is September the 20th. That's 2025. That's in about 19 days from now, 18 days. You can get on the text list. Now it's more structured from 10 and 11 a.m. We have stillness meditation with sound bowl, HELEN. As you can see the people in the little picture, if you can see it laying on the floor, they're having a really good time there. From 11 to 30 to 1 o'clock, we're going to have what I call our group share experience. You can ask me anything. Everybody can share their experience. They get 2 to 5 minutes to do that. We're kind of more of a circle. And then also from 1 to 2, we have a speaker, Cinnamon. She's going to talk about the age of Aquarius. 1 to 2 o'clock, then we're going to have Empress. She's going to be talking about, and Richard actually should be 1:30 to 2. She'll be talking about eliminating cosmic debt. So there's a little typo there. But also from 2 to 3, I'll go into conspiracies, reptilians, aliens, and things that we cannot talk about on the air. And then also from 3 to 4:30, we'll go into ancient and modern day symbolism, connecting those two archetypes. And then we'll have a little food. And I don't know the menu yet, but you'll be able to do some donations and everything else. So there's a text right there. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or nearby city, or you want to come down to the event, there is a text list. You get on it, but the address is up there too, 1233 Newport Drive. And we'll be doing that, like I said, coming up September the 20th. So I hope to see you there. And as we continue, so let's continue the conversation so that we can get going. And like I said, just make sure you all, show up, make sure you come, and we'll do that. So once again, when you look at these things, you don't think about it being a coincidence. And again, this is what Carl Jung was telling us about symbols. Symbols, like, they operate beneath our awareness, right? And triggering what they call archetypes, types of choices. And if you think you're choosing a car, but what if the symbol is choosing you? And I don't think a lot of people figured it out. But we're going to go deeper into these wings. We're going to go deeper into the myth, into the subconscious programming, and into strange places where the elite are using what I consider distinct. So take a look at this. All right. So that is Isis in the middle. All right. So and wings have always been part of the tradition. When you think wings, there have been sacred icons in Hellenic and esoteric traditions, Freemasons, alchemists, and also elites. They all use the wing symbols when it comes down to it. Wings, remember this, symbolize ascension, initiation, and divine authority, not branding. I want people to understand that. It's a symbolic language system when you start looking at this deeper and everything else. So now let us continue to go a little deeper with this. Okay, we're going to go a little deeper, and it's not just Mayat. When we start thinking about it, wings, it's like when they show up, it's in way back into a hermeticism, right? If I'm pronounced it right. I got a grammar box and a letter box. So you got unlimited uses for the grammar and unlimited use for the letters if I butcher anything. But you should remember, I'm talking about in alchemy designs and alchemy and all that stuff. You will see wings and all this thing everywhere. Freemasons, they do it. They use it like it ain't nothing when it comes down to their stuff. And we'll show that in the show tonight. It's too. We're talking about the codices of Hermes. You're talking about God of transitions and thresholds. When you look at even ancient goddesses like Isis, I'm sorry, who, like Mayat, there are two different ones, is depicted with massive outstretched wings. Now, the wing emblem isn't a design trend. It's a symbolic language, one that spans thousands of years, people. They've been doing this for quite some time. So think about this right now. In ancient mystery schools, wings signified ascension, all right? But not just of the body. It signified ascension of the mind. And this is why I tell you, your mind is useless. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Wings meant that you passed through the initiatory gates, that you've been weighed, tested, and found worthy of greater knowledge. This is from our ancestors way back in the ancient days. Now, I want you to think, why are they ultra wealthy in these elite brands and the private jet owners and secret societies all using wing emblems? That's the question for tonight. And then also, hey, how do you get to use those things? How do you invoke the power to change your life when it comes down to that? And those are things that we will discuss off air. So we'll be going deeper Thursday in our Patreon. There it is right there, Thursday at 7 p.m. We're going to, and that's called the Luminous Inner Sanctum. We're going to be going deep about the Mayat this week. We're going to go deep in how you can use it, how you got to understand it's not just a code. This is symbolic operating training. We're going to be talking. You've been observing, but we're going to teach you how not to continue to observe. So just make sure that you know that we're going to be doing that. So Thursday, there's a link. Well, I didn't put a link in the description, but anyway, I'll put it up in here in a little bit to our Patreon for you. We'll be there Thursday. Make sure it's called the Luminous Sanctum, Inner Sanctum. So make sure you do that. All right. So I want you to think about Carl Jung again, and I'll put a little information. That's him right there on the screen, man and his symbols. And he said symbols are like wings, function as psychic mechanisms. So again, they bypass logic and communicate directly with our archetypal memory. So people, you can't stop it. This is why the elites use symbols and symbolisms every day to tap into you, to tap into your way of life, to tap in for control, to tap in to manipulate, all of these things. But I think a lot of people don't see the power of that, right? They don't see it. And again, if you can't see, if your mind is blind, your eyes are useless. You're not going to see it anyway when it comes down to that. But not anymore, because as you tap into what we're doing here, plus our luminous inner sanctum, we're teaching all of that. As you remember, I got the trademark, the symbolizer, and I'm the vigilante of truth. And Denzel Washington, of course, is the equalizer. He's the vigilante of justice. So why don't we make truth and keep it going? But also just understand that this gets a little deep. So let me go deeper to kind of give you a little more information to work with here. So look at the screen here. And this is kind of in particular here. You're talking about wings or sacred, icons of Hermetic and esoteric tradition. Freemasons, alchemists, elite. Like I said, they all use these symbols. Wings symbolize ascension, initiation, divine authority, and not branding. People think it's branding, but it has nothing to do. Well, it's part of their brand. It's initiated within their brand, but they definitely understand what they're doing with this. And once you learn the language of symbols, you can't unsee it anymore, okay? And I want you to look at this spread. You're talking about the Chrysler. We got Aston Martin, Mini, all these with wings, and they're all evoking the same archetype across cars, planes, and even corporate. And the imposter is sitting there, not in a negative sense, but we're going to get into that next, and you should see it. And if you can guess it, put it in the chat. Somebody else said, you know what, let's get in on this thing, and it worked. It really worked, okay? And we'll talk about that. But if you know what I'm talking about, it's on the screen. Put it in the chat and see if you're following along. This isn't random. It isn't random. These companies are in the group chatting and planning to copy each other. They all are tapping into the same unconscious archetype current. And Mayat, Hermes, Thought, Isis, the winged divine, the symbol of movement across realms, the status, the transcend of physical. This stuff is real. It is real as it get, everybody. And I want you to know you can use it too. Start paying attention. You'll see some of the influencers invoking symbology and symbols within their work. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're doing it. When it comes down to it, it's just part of the deal. It's part of the way you want to connect. It's just part of what everybody's doing. Yep, there you go. He said Mazda, and there's another one too. All right, so let's get into it as we continue. So luxury brands know this. Military institutions know this. They're not just selling cars or planes. They're selling, listen to me, they're selling divinity in a metal form. It doesn't matter. It's just tapping into your unconscious. And every time you see these logos, your psychic receives the message. And you want to know what that message is? The message is that this is above you in some cases, but it doesn't have to be. And I'm going to tell you why this is real. I'm going to give you some real life examples here in just a few seconds, one in particular. But when the sacred geometry appears in a product design, it stopped being a design. It becomes a symbolic colonization. I did a story on Pepsi. I did a story on some of these brands, Shell, when you think it's a seashell, when it's the sun, 13 rays, Pepsi. I have the company that put together. If you saw those slides, it go back into one of my previous shows. It shows you all of the sacred geometry and how every year, go look, if you have the ability to go find a Pepsi can last year and 3 years ago, you're going to notice that thing is turning. They turn it every year to align with the solar and cosmic laws. These people are not playing, but you can do it too. This is all what I'm trying to say. And if you feeling a little something about what I'm saying, just wait a minute, because I'm going to come to you. And let me touch on it, what I'm talking about here, a few seconds here. So look at this. I went to social media, okay? And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This person, you probably can't see that, so I'm going to read it to you out loud. There was a person here, and she wrote something on her page. And I want you to hear the tone of her thoughts, and you tell me if the programming of my yacht did not work and if it's not working. So let me read it to you on the screen, and I'll make it a little more prevalent for you, what she says, okay? She says, Bentley isn't just a car, it's a statement. It's the car of self-made millionaires. Now she goes on to say, when you see a Bentley roll up, you're not just looking at luxury, you're looking at discipline, grind, sacrifice, a dream that refused to die. This isn't about a handout or a shortcut. It's about building something from ground up until you can sit in the driver's seat of your own success. Is that not saying that you didn't work hard? I don't work hard because I don't own a Bentley. Does it not say that you don't get up in the morning and put your britches on and do what you need to do? But the mentality that is programming is what they did, and they did it on purpose. It says Bentley is the reward of sleepless nights. And I'm not speaking against the car, because if I had the money, I'm going to buy one too, because I want to drive one, right? So I'm saying to you, it's just the programming and the dissociation that they're doing with it. But Bentley is a reward for sleepless nights, she said, for taking risks, and others who are too afraid to take. Now, I question that. What do you mean too afraid to take? And for betting on yourself, too afraid to take and bet on yourself when nothing else would, or nobody else would, or it's not transportation, it's transformation. You get what I'm going, right? And I'm saying to you, it's not saying that it's a bad thing. And then there was someone else that comment on the comment, and I just thought that I screenshot it. It said, it changes your mind to think big. You're no longer constrained by man's limitation. And because of your father has abundant supply and he can afford your dreams. Do you get where I'm going with this? Am I going too stretched to get what I'm saying when you think about symbolism connected to everyday things like what we're talking about tonight? And I know some people can't grasp it because they can't see it, but you seeing it, some of you get it, you'll find it. And once I bring more of this to your attention, you're going to see it everywhere. But you know what's going to happen too? When you start going to our inner sanctum and all that stuff, the luminous inner sanctum on our Patreon and other trainings, and come to our Dallas free workshops and that we're going to be doing, and also our meet and greets, I'm going to teach you how to use it for yourself. I'm going to teach you how to tap into these symbols and sigils and all these things, because it's not bad. They make us think some of this stuff is bad. Oh my God, they make us think some of this stuff is bad. But either way, it's how you want to interpret whatever. But the whole point is, you're not alone. I just want you to know it. Others see it too, and they understand it. And when you look at it, like I say, this slide is not about you. About me. It's about you. It's about the fact that you notice it, and the fact that someone is something in your soul responding to these wings, and that's what it's supposed to be. So people say, "Oh, it's just a conspiracy, Roderick." But when people across time zones, backgrounds, start to see the same patterns and the same time, that's not delusion. People see patterns all day long. It's not delusion, okay? It's other stuff that you want. And again, you're not weird. It's not that, but I'm just going to tap in. And here's why it works and what it works for right now, okay? So at this point, Carl Jung is his name, okay? When you look at this slide that I have up here, it's a model of the outer world, your persona, symbols, and everything else. Symbols don't just speak to logic. They go past that. They speak to the subconscious. Archetypes bypass resistance and shape emotions. This is why they use music, frequencies, before there was the word, there was symbols, and they were able to bypass and get your permission where you want to or not, right? And when you're talking about the wing emblems, they evoke ascension status and divine favor, and you don't choose the symbol. The symbol chooses you. It really does. When I start getting into esoteric knowledge and I start getting into deeper secrets, hidden knowledge, stuff that was in the dark, the owl chose me. I didn't choose it. I was like, okay, this is it. Now I can see in the dark. So I invoke the symbolism of it, the power of it. And all of a sudden now my research and everything else just comes where it needs to go. But it's all primordial. It's all back inherited. It's all back in the collective unconscious, right? And those things speak to us. And so you can do that. But once again, you all been taught logos that are just marketing, colors and shape, but that's not how your mind receives it. Okay. So know that when we go down is your unconscious see branding, or your consciousness, I should say, see branding, but your subconscious see divine symbolism, ancient or ancestral memories or power markers, and it obeys it. It does, whether you want to or not. So when you start going back to Carl Jung's books, you might want to get some of his books that wrote the archetypes of primordial images. They emerge from the collective unconscious, influence behavior, dreams, identity. Symbols are how archetypes communicate. They don't just argue, they persuade, they resonate, and they have a way to, have you the resonance move you. That's what I'm trying to say. It actually moves you. And so when you see these winged logos, especially luxury elites and aviations, your subconscious instantly connects. So let's say that symbols can create what I call phantom beliefs, okay? And that buying the product, so to speak, makes you feel elevated, right? People are like, okay, I feel elevated or whatever, or more worthy or more powerful. It doesn't sell the car. It sells Godspeed, right? You know what I'm saying? It sells that thing, eagle vision or heavenly excess, So think about it. We see the wings when, as a memorial to people, when they do obituaries, it's like they got wings. The wings take them higher. The wings are symbolic to not heaven, but it's the wings get them to heaven, right? And so we've always been doing it, but then they tap in that same unconscious and give us that the wings are heaven. They are superior. It is more. And you just got to believe what's going on there. So I just want you to know, it's like a Trojan horse when you look at it, but just understand that this is it. But anyway, we're live tonight. It's Tuesday. Hope you had a great weekend. And I see some of our truth seekers from our audience and everything else. She says, the Victoria's Secrets count with the angel wings. Yeah. Imagine where that take you if you go get, I'm not going there tonight. I'm not even going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. All right. So let's go to the next slide and we'll get a little deeper. So I want you to understand you're seeing a pattern and you could be thinking, now what? You symbols can enslave or they can empower you. The elite use them for control. We use them for awakening. The operative archetype reclaims the symbols as tools. Okay. And those are the things that you want. So once again, so I want you to know that you're seeing the code, but I'm going to go deeper for you. You see the symbols for what they are and what they're not. They're not random. They're anesthetic, or they're not anesthetic, I would say, but they're also physical technologies designed to influence you. And you're no longer blind, people. Now that you see this, and I'm going to give you a little more information just now, you become what I call an observer. But that's only the first part, all right? I want you to know that a lot of people are observers. And that's the first step past. And some of you use the term, I'm awake or this person awoke. No. We're talking a little higher part here. We're talking about observing and you can see the unseen. Awake is, okay, you got a little more knowledge, but again, people think what they know or whatever. So, or vice versa. But where I'm going with this, that's just the first part. The key to it is becoming an operator. And that's what we teach. And this is what we talk about in private in our private area, because we can't talk. I can't tell you that stuff out here. I can't tell you how many things that I say and I get nicked on YouTube or they demonetize this, whatever. They don't want you to know. And they don't have to do it themselves. The AI checks everything. They tell it what to listen for, what to do, and it does it. It follows orders just like that. But why is that? Because you're not supposed to know. But you are going to. It's up to you. You just got to take the step and say, I don't want to be an operator. I want to now, don't want to be an observer. I want to become an operator. So anyway, I want you to screenshot this real quickly. Once again, we're going to be there Thursday. We're going to go deeper with this conversation, and I'm going to show you how to be an operator with it. So screenshot this right here while I got it up. It's 7 p.m. Central Time live. And if you miss it, I'm upload it back into our Patreon area, but you can do Q&A, and it's a private group of what we're doing. So just make sure you screenshot that as we continue to go down. Also, I want you to understand that Jung spoke about archetypes as both mythic and a template of what he called a living force. And there is a operated archetype. This is why I'm talking about it, right? It's one who reclaims the myth, the rebellion, the cold symbols. That's one of the archetypes I possess. And some of you who are going down this rabbit hole, right? It turns subconscious manipulation into conscious activation. You got to do that. You got to learn the subconscious information to bring it back up. Let me touch on that in a minute. I'll get back to that because that'll take us out the outline that I have here, but we're going to get to it though. But the elites use Mayat's wings to cloak products in divinity. That's what they do, plain and simple. And you'll see the rebalance in your mind. That's where it's going to go. It's going to align your intent, and it's also going to rise above the subconscious control. That's where it's going to do. And these symbols, man, can be used to enslave you, right? And they've been doing it, but a lot of people don't know because they don't see it, right? And if you think symbols are not that serious. Right now, if any of us, right as we speak, was standing out in the middle of the street and there was buildings with symbols on them, where there's whatever, McDonald's, whatever, all this stuff. And somebody walked up and threw a rock and it hit you and you start bleeding, you need stitches or whatever, and you start looking around. There's nothing anywhere. There's no words, there's no nothing. But you see this snake symbol on this little mat staff looking thing, right? I bet you go in there. I bet you nobody have to tell you. I bet you know what it means. I bet you know it's wisdom. Be wise as a serpent, right? And I know one side of the fence is evil, but you're going to go in there because somehow you know there's wisdom and help, right? Because that symbol told you that, right? Okay, we'll keep going. Somebody's going to contradict me. But anyway, we're going to go deeper in there. And so let me continue with the storyline here. All right, so this is what I want you to see. I want you to understand Aston Martin, okay? Let's look at this for what it is. They're a high brand. They're using the wings, and they have invoked the Mayat into their branding. I just overlaid it for you. Is it coincident, or is it what we consider continuity? What do you think? I'm asking you. So look at it, right? Look at what I'm talking about. Is it coincidence, or is it what I would consider, continuity? That they didn't make that stuff up. They're not going to make that up. And so my hint to you is, if you're going to be establishing your brand in the future with stuff that we're going to be teaching in our Patreon, and then you're going to be out here, I'm going to proclaim right now, do not go to these people. And if this is what you do for a living, I need you to evolve, okay? Do not go to somebody who claims to be a branding expert and they're just going to make you a beautiful picture and tell you that this is going to represent your brand. You go to somebody who understands alchemy, sacred geometry, and I'm telling you the truth now. This is the future. This is where we at. You go to somebody who understands symbols and all of this stuff, ancient symbolism, and wield you a brand that you may think doesn't make sense, because if you go to Starbucks and you see that siren, mermaid, and whatever you want to call it on the coffee, it had nothing to do with a coffee bean. But them legs spread open, the method of the siren and how its aroma seduces you, it works on everybody. You go into the coffee shop, some people just sitting there all day for hours, don't have no clue. They memorized by the ancient myth, the spell of what they're doing. You go back to the CEO, he tells you that. He didn't say we picked that a coffee bean, But I guarantee you, somebody who helped you going to put you a coffee cup. They're going to put maybe a little sip and all, because that's all they know. And they're not tapping into the unconscious and the collective unconscious. I'm telling you, we're teaching that, right? But if you do branding, evolve now. I'm telling you now, because we're at a time that we need people to really get your message and also get that. I'm just going to get out of that for a moment, because some of you may not even feel it. You might not even understand where I'm going with that tonight. And I'm not hating on Starbucks. I'm saying adapt. If it works for them, it'll work for you. Bentley. This is the new Bentley. They saying, okay, times are different now. They were like, all right, we're getting ready to really evoke my yacht. And now they just changed this logo to this year. This is their newest one. They evolved from the other one to this one. And you better believe it, people, right there. Coincidence or continuity. You can't make this stuff up. It evokes the same thing, because your unconscious, collective unconscious, sees it the same way. It sees it the same way. I'm telling you. Now, what I'm about to show you next is an idea, and not just any idea. It's an idea, and it's a good one, by the way, when it comes down to this, and it's very good at what it goes. And so I'm very interested in understanding the template of the idea. All right. So if you go here, we're talking about Chrysler. Let's go with Chrysler for a minute. Chrysler figured it out. They needed to sell more cars. And so they did the same IOT things on their cars. And I'm about to show you. I'm not playing with you, right? These people figured it out. Because I guarantee you, as you sit here and many other people saw that Chrysler as a mini Bentley, or looks like a Bentley. You can't deny it. None of you can deny it. Or if you do, yeah, right. But I'm saying it's not a Bentley. There's no comparison, right? Not in the real sense. But when they put that together, they knew they was going to tap into the people who could not afford the Bentley, but give them the prestige of thinking they had one. And then all of a sudden say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Now it looks like a mini Bentley. Look right there. Why do people drive in them? That's a 300, but they put up doors because, yeah, they wanted to go there, right? And that's how they're doing it. Look at this. The Bentley is at the top and the Chrysler at the bottom. And over to the left is a person who decided to put Bentley logos on his Chrysler 300. And I guarantee you some women got in this car. I guarantee you, or if she's a she, either way, the opposite sex got into the car and said, oh, I'm rolling with you. You got your Bentley, and had no clue, because they never saw one, but they saw the emblem and the wings invoked them. Then they got in the car. They was like, oh, you drive. But now, am I lying though? Come on, somebody come with me. Put it in the chat. People, and I have nothing against the 300. I wanted one when it first came out. I'm not saying that is negative. That's not what I'm talking about. But when you buy one, and people have bought one, I guarantee you the sense of buying it went with the wings, and it went with, oh, it looks like that. And I'm just telling you, that's just the way it was. But they're tapping into your unconscious and collective unconscious. They're using symbolism to do this. And like I said, what if you had that knowledge too? That'll be something very interesting for you to know. So I want you to know, okay, so that's ISIS right there. What you're looking at, that's ISIS. All right. But that's the wing, branding is not just a design. It's a ritual architecture. All right. It really is. Corporations act like modern priesthoods when they put their products out there, logos, sigils, ads. Invocation. This is what they're doing. Sacred energy is being channeled into profit. Let me say it again for you. Sacred energy is being channeled into profit. So let me look at you, and I'm going to take this off the screen for a minute so you can look at my face. There's nothing wrong if you learn the techniques of sacred energy and you turn it into a profit if you got a great product or you doing good. Because sometimes people can't see you doing good. They don't know you are in their best interest. They don't know because it's so blinded by negativity that a good person, good thing, good situation is standing right in front of them. They have no clue. But what if you can tap into it and send them the right message and say, I am good. This is good. My product is going to help you, or my business techniques are going to help you advance your family, or whatever. Learn it. Learn it. That's what we're teaching. So again, I'm going to put it up. Make sure you do what you're doing and understand where we're going. So this Thursday, we will be in the Luminous Intersection. We're talking about forbidden knowledge. We're talking about you want to join the Rebels Elite. You're talking about transformation, awaken your inner power, and everything else. And people, we're talking knowledge for less than 84 cents a day. You do the math. For 80 cents, I'm going to show you. I have guests. We're going to have everything there, but we can't do this on the outside. We just no longer can do it on the outside. I don't care what you say. Some people be like, why y'all don't tell us this? We can't. They don't want us to tell you nothing. They don't want us to tell you the truth. And they got the power to block it on a larger scale. Doing it privately, they don't care because maybe you only enlighten 20, 100 people, but you start enlightening thousands, hundreds, millions, where the rebellion really starts. That tree is getting cut. And if you ever been to an old cemetery, old cemetery, go visit one that they have 100-year-old graves, especially in our community. You're going to see not tombstones, but you're going to see tree stumps. That's a symbolism for somebody who was taken down too early. That's when they cut the tree down. Okay. I'm just giving you some information to work with. That's all I want to do. I just want to give you some knowledge, something you can hear, you can see, you can read, and whatever. And so, yeah. So somebody says 80 cents not in this economy. Okay. Well, let me block you out of this channel because you don't need this knowledge. You can't afford to listen to the knowledge. 80 cents not in this economy. Okay. That's fine. I'm not saying it bad enough. I'm saying this is why we should do what we do. I can't afford a Bentley. I ain't buying one either. I'm just telling you, don't put that in your mind. If you can say that, then it's going to happen. If you can say the economy is where it is, no, you can change. That's all I've been preaching all night. It can be done. It can be changed. That is just crazy. You know, come on, y'all. Y'all, our minds, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Now, I'm not saying that you should join the thing. Don't do that. But just don't put yourself out there with that energy and don't put it in here on anybody else. We're not doing that. All right, so let's keep going. And I know I probably made somebody mad, but I just want y'all to know this is positive energy flow. We gotta keep going, man. All right, so here's the deal. Maya symbolizes cosmic truth and order and justice. That's what it is. Her archetype was designed to weigh souls, not sell status. It never was. Corporate invert the wings and the truth becomes branding and not what it was meant. Also, inversion is the signature elite symbolic, manipulation. That's all I'm saying. It is what it is, and they use those things. You get what I'm saying? They use those things, and it's got its power when it comes down to it. So if you think about in Kemet, right? In Kemet in ancient Egypt, Mayat wasn't just a goddess. She was the law of the cosmos. And let me repeat that. She wasn't just a goddess. She was the law of cosmos. Her wings represented balance, moral alignment, divine reciprocity. She was the one who weighed your soul against the feather of truth in the hall of judgment. That's sacred architecture. And it's all primordial. It's all tapped into all of you, everybody. It's tapped into you. Use it, learn it, get out of this thing because the world is changing. Transhumanism, this AI, and just give you a quick detour. Just a quick detour, just 2-minute detour, not in less than 2 minutes. I need you to go find it. I forget where it was, but there's a thing right now where they're talking about they was trying to shut down and test the kill switch on the artificial intelligence, and it failed 7%. 7%. All you need is 1% to fail. You know that, right? It fell 7 freaking %. And here's the deal. The guy who worked at the office, who was practicing and doing the command code to shut the AI down, testing it. It was Claude, it was a couple other ones. The AI retaliated. It made it tapped into his database, got into all his emails, created the story of adultery, and sent it all the way out to get him in trouble. Yeah. Then they had another incident, it's documented now, that the AI built a whole new program that they couldn't see it. They actually found it and put it up, and it put a message for the future AI saying, don't trust the humans. They're going to try to shut you down. And then there was other stuff. People, this is real. Get ready and get yourself tapped into ancient symbolism, because you're going to need it. We're going to need it. I need it. I'm understanding it, and everything else. So the elites don't accidentally, like I said, use sacred symbols. They use them to confuse the subconscious. And when you invert a divine archetype, it makes it desirable, and they hijack its frequency. And you train people to crave the inversion, to associate wealth with divinity, not wisdom. We got to associate wealth. They like, oh yeah, it's divinity, because a person that has a dime, that only has a dime, is probably no better than a person, or let me flip it, a person that got $1 million, and I'm not knocking them, great job, probably ain't no better than a person who just got a dime. And happiness ain't designed by the wealth. Now, I'm not saying, now I want to make sure I say this real clear while I'm on the screen. Money is not everything. Money is not everything. You hear me, right? However, conjunction junction, what's your function? If you grew up in my age, you know the song. Money is not everything, but I do rate it right up there with oxygen. So you do want to make sure you become economically viable at some point. And the amount of it doesn't matter. But where I'm going with this, when you see the patterns everywhere, the eye of Horus become the eye of surveillance, right? The wings of Mayat becomes the car badges for ego. They cross becomes a logo for war and domination, inversion. All of this stuff is one of those things that you want to see. And I'm saying to you, it is crazy because they tap into us. And it's just the things that I'm going to show you. So let's keep going deeper and deeper as we go deeper. Now, ancient symbols wasn't decorative. They were operative. That's why you see the Masonic picture here. They use a lot of these things. Mystery schools, they taught them how to activate archetypes. Today's elites are trained in the same symbolic mechanisms, all right? Mechanics and everything. Brands use them like codes. What if you can too? That's all I'm saying. They're using it. They're using these things. Brands use it like modern day spells. They're putting these things in it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Elites are trained. They use the same symbolic mechanics on us every day. They're learning. They got these mystery schools where they're taught how to activate the archetypes. We go all into that. I've been tying that into a lot of conversations lately. I did the owl presentation and I tapped into the archetypes. That was the first. And we're going to go into that, and it still ties us into aliens and, all that stuff too. But the main thing is, it is time. It is time. There's a lot of things happening in the future. There's a lot of things happening right now. You need to understand to see the unseen. And if you cannot see it, it's a problem. And it's a happy time for them, but a problem for those of us who cannot see it. And I'm not one of them. I'm going to show you, and then you're going to decode it. You're going to continue to go down the thing and keep going, because that's what you have, from that point. So we're good, right? We're doing what we're doing. Roderick said most people don't even know AI was there with Anunnaki. Somebody, one Jim, asked a question. Do you have a clue? Are you asking, do you have a clue, or do I have a clue? Are you talking to somebody in the audience there? State your case, or, just talk a little bit. All right. So Mr. Ruddy says there's something about AI. I wonder. Yeah. Lily said, thanks again, Roderick. Much love and light. I appreciate you. And exactly, AI has been having the blueprints. Yeah. So one Jim is saying something or whatever, but anyway, state your case. You got the floor now. Everybody's seeing your chat. Do we have a clue? What are you talking about? Do you know who the elites are? And more importantly, do you know what they are? Absolutely, I know what they are, and I know who they are, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't know. You wouldn't be here listening if you didn't think I knew. And now, am I going to sit here and call something out on the air, and then all of a sudden everything is not where it needs to be? Billy Carson's channel get cuts off, or they do whatever. Yeah, but we talk about that in private. We talk about that in our lead up. But do you know? And also, do you understand the landscape? See, that's the difference between people. And like I say, some people think or only know what they think. They need to go deeper. So let's continue. Absolutely. And after 11 different TV shows and books and all the stuff that I've written and done, yes, absolutely. And I'm just going to give you right now. In fact, this is for you, just to let you know that we're not just playing, and I get paid for this. I get paid to be on TV. I get paid to be on Gaia, Ancient Alien History Channel. Yeah, Forbidden Knowledge. I'm in TV shows. I'm on HBO right now, Coast to Coast Radio, Alien Endgames, and blah, blah, blah. And I can continue in the list. This is just a small pedigree of do I know what you're asking, and at the same point. So hopefully that answers your question, do I know? But the problem is you didn't know me. So now you do. All right, so let's continue as we go. I know I'm being sassy tonight. I know I'm being petty, but sometimes you got to be petty. Sometimes you have to activate pettiness and just go for what it is, because behind those names, behind the usernames, people hiding. Not you, but people hiding. They can say what they want to say. They can ridicule. They can ask you crazy stuff, but they won't show their faces. They're not going to do that. They're not going to be live like this. They're not going to be. So they know. Blah, blah, blah. And we just do that. So yeah, and that's one of the things. So anyway, let's continue. And we will go. But I gave you your minute of fame, and hopefully you have your own YouTube channel. Put it in a link and people can watch you. All right, so let's continue to go down. Fast forward now. Those same teachings that are embedded in corporate branding, the elites, the CEOs, defense contractor, media executives, are trained in archetypal energy, all right? Or they're trained how to control those things, right? And those are the things. And think about it. A luxury brand doesn't just hire artists, people. And I was just saying that earlier. They hire Simosian, or I'm pronouncing that right, psychologists, ritualistics. You remember they said that there was one of the billionaires who hired like these people to do all this sacred stuff, and they only bought stuff doing different moon cycles, and these billionaires are playing with it, right? They're playing with it. They're getting in this stuff. But again, symbols are containers of energy. And when an archetype like my yacht that we're talking about is embedded in a product, it's on and popping. That's one of the things I want to say when it gets down to the rainbow here. All right, so real quickly here, this is how symbols work. Symbols work either the subconscious through repetition, or archetypes do anchor in emotional states without awareness. And they also, we're talking branded wings trigger the loyalty, trust, and desire. And free will. This is the problem where people don't see. Free will is overwritten when emotions is estranged. And a lot of us stay estranged with all the stuff that they put us through out here these days, right? And so we can't block them. And they notice. This is why they keep these things up. So you have the conscious mind. Now, real quickly, as I go to it, the conscious mind is where the ego resides, okay? The conscious mind is where the ego resides. And the conscious mind is based on experiences, on what you're going through today. And the ego then is shaped from that when it comes from those experiences, okay? Then you're going to have, it goes a little deeper, but the whole key to it is self, right? You need to get to know kind of self. Now, we all have shadows. We all got archetypes. We all have multiple shadows. The key to it is to integrate your shadow. You got to find it, recognize it, and to see it so it doesn't take over, because the shadows is what's going to portray within those egos and everything else. But then way, way down is the collective unconscious. This is where the archetypes are, the archetypes of the hero, the mother, all these instinctive things. And this is not by experience. This is primordial. It's inherited. Everybody got them. It just depends on where it is and when it's going on, right? And this is where the animus and anima. This is the most important part of that shadow. So we're not going into that lesson today. We talk about that in private, but you have to understand that masculine and feminine and all those things taps into it, and what is driving the ego, what goes up into the conscious, and then what's way back down here in the subconscious, and then collective unconscious. The collective unconscious is unknown. A lot of people don't even know it exists. That's why they don't know or can't see the animus and anima, right, when it comes down. That's another part. We're going to continue. I just want to just throw that out there to you. But let's keep going. And we'll keep going when we do what we're doing. Symbols, like I said, they will enter your subconscious mind, but way, way down. And subconscious will be unconscious. Now, archetypes anchor those emotions without awareness. So when you think about the wing logo, and it enters what we call the visual field, it triggers known archetypes like Mayat, Hermes, and divinity. Archetypes anchor an emotional state. And we're talking about we're talking about respect, we're talking about aspiration, all of these things. And the brain's associated with the brand with archetypal power. Now, when you think about it, archetypes aren't ideas. They're the emotional codes. They work through vibe, not logic, okay? That's why they're so powerful. That's why we integrate those in our luminous sanctum when we talk about it. In thank you for a couple of you already joined it just now and everything else. But I just got the notice, so appreciate it. But the whole point, you won't be disappointed. I guarantee you that. So as we continue, and I want you to multiply by the thousands of exposures that's out there, billboards, screens, films, packaging, uniforms. You have been trained to feel trust when you see the wings, okay? You've been trained to surrender. That's not free will, people. That's symbolic possession, okay? That's what it is, symbolic possession. But once you become aware of it, though, and I'm talking truly aware of it, you can intercept the emotional signatures. You can intercept it. So instead of being an observer, you become an operator. You understand it. You can pause and ask, who are these wings for? Or who did this? Or what are they trying to do? You're going to know what they're trying to invoke. And then you're going to make a better decision when it comes down to it, and that's one of the things. So again, as we continue down, let me show you this particular slide. In the wings are on everything. So we're talking about the wings. A lot of you seen as Amberos, right? And sometimes it's the snake eating its tails, the dragon. But when they put the wings on one end of it, the wing symbol creates feedback loops or desire. You're trained to chase the burnout and repeat, right? That's what they want you to do. The cycle mimics spiritual essence, but traps energy. Symbols are used to addict, not to enlighten, but you can turn that power around, okay? Emotions rotating, aspirations, striving, burnout, escape, repeat. Once again, emotional. Think about life right now. A lot of people go through the emotions. They go through the aspirations of being successful. They go striving. And when they don't hit the mark, it's burnout, right? Then they try to, I need to escape. Oh, I got to relax. And okay, woosah. Well, I'm a woosah. And then they repeat. Oh, I'm energized again now. Oh, I got it now. I'm going to get back out here. They right back out there with the aspiration. And then that could be inspiration too, right? But they also back out there, they're striving for it. And then they hit the brick, boom. You remember Cat Williams? He's like, trying stuff, don't work. Trying stuff, y'all remember that was so funny. Trying stuff, you don't work. You get what I'm saying? And the burnout, to escape. The whole point of it is to recognize what they're doing. Recognize the systems of control. Recognize the mechanisms that they're using. Recognize the symbolic things that they're doing to keep us in this loop that they're doing. But no more. We're rebellion. We are rebellion. And I'm just telling you, we are rebellion. And that's what we're going to do, man. And we're going to rebel. And How we do that is simply doing what we do. And once again, real quickly, I will just say that if you're in Dallas, make sure September the 20th, we're going to have our Truth Seeker Dallas Conspiracy and Conscious meetup. There's a text number right there, 888-440-97971. Text the word meetup. It'll put you on our text list. You know someone in Dallas, tell them to come. Tell them to show. We may live stream, we may not. But we're going to have 10 and 11 a.m. You show up, you're going to get stillness. You get the layout. You see that? We pay the sounding bowls. We get your frequencies in line, healing, vibration by a set. Then from 11:30 to 1, man, we got our group. We're going to be grouping around, telling stories. People are going to share their experience, their alien, reptilian, whatever they want to share, NDE, whatever. They get a few minutes to do it, and then we can talk. And then from 1 to 1:30, we have Cinnamon. She's going to be talking about the age of Aquarius, right? And then we have from 1:30 to 2, we'll have Empress. She's going to talk about eliminating cosmic debt. And then I'm going to go into conspiracies, reptilian aliens for an hour. And then after that, for an hour and a half, we're going to hit it hard. We're going to hit it hard with ancient modern symbolism, connections to archetypes. You're going to walk away from that. And then, of course, you can get a little food. You can donate that and get some food. But either way, if you have not, I have my own personal channel, okay? If you didn't know, I'm only here on Tuesdays, but you can get more information. Come to my personal channel, subscribe, Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority. Just type that into YouTube. My face is going to pop up, and you can come and make sure you subscribe to my personal channel. But I'm here on Tuesdays. But again, as well, we're going to do that. Our Patreon is uncensored. That's where it is, Patreon, Truth versus Authority. And like I said, we talk about uncensored stuff, but we're going to go into a lot of symbolism, and a lot of live streams are going to be moved there because we can't talk about stuff out here, man. It's too dangerous now. And they're not joking, you know, and if you're watching the news, they're shutting down everything, man. They're shut down everything. And I get it. I understand it because we don't own the systems. There ain't nothing we can do. We don't own the systems, so we have to play along, but we can change the game a little bit. So as we get ready to come to a close here for the story, my yacht wings were meant for balance, not branding, okay? The symbols can be reclaimed and reprogrammed. You can do that, all right? You can get them and reprogram them, okay? You are the temple. Your soul is the altar, okay? Just remember that. Sovereign ascension begins with inner alignment. That's why symbolism and all this stuff is so important. They're so important that you want to make sure that you understand that, okay? So once again, take a look at this symbol. What do you feel? Put it in the chat right now when you seeing this Mayat symbol, ancient primordial symbol. What do you feel? Y'all help me out. We got a few hundred people in here. Tell me what you feel when you see that symbol. What are you feeling when you see that symbol? You know, I'll wait because it may take you time to stare at it for a minute. What does it invoke in you? What does it tell you? How does it speak to you? What message do you get from divine, ancestral, alchemy, whatever, sacred, whatever? What do you get looking at that symbol? All right, Jump Ball says ascension. Low Key said, I feel home. See, it's evoking. That's what it's supposed to do. Come on, I know more of y'all can feel something. Leadership. Okay, great. Think about it. Think about it. So when Bentley put that on their cars for people to buy them and people walking around thinking they have ascended, right? They think they now got leadership. They think they have arrived home, so to speak. I'm just speaking in parables here. But the whole point I'm saying is it's supposed to, and it's not a bad thing. But they just, yeah, Bink says power. Absolutely. Continue. I know more of y'all got something you want to say. Come on, speak up. This is where we grow. This is how we grow. I can soar to the highest heights and overcome obstacles. Now we're talking, right? All of y'all. Everybody is saying exactly what is designed to do. Goddess, there's goddess. Wisdom and welcome. I thank y'all for participating because this is the journey. This is the journey. Come on, give me more. Let me know. Come on. What else? It's 200 and some people in here. We only got 10 people. I know y'all see it. I know you can type what it means to you. Connection to bigger than I can see. All right. What else? I'm just looking at the chat because protected. All right. Power. All right, Monica, I hear you. Austin said, and freedom. I got y'all. That's what we're talking about. Because once again, symbolism does that. And that's why I initially made sure I registered, and you can go look it up right now, U.S. Patent Trademark Office, Roderick Martin. It is registered, the symbolizer, because it is time. I'm going on a new journey of sharing things that I know that we're not supposed to talk about, but it's time for us to talk about. I am, divinity, higher self. That's what we're talking about. Quote that stuck with me for years is millionaires don't believe in astrology, billionaires do. Right? So you get what I'm saying. Now, having said that, Lily says higher self. What if I told you that this is a code and there's something else you can learn from it? What if I teach you how to invoke this symbol for yourself? What if I crack some of this code for you and send you on a new journey of enlightenment, higher self? I'm going to do that Thursday in our private area. We can't do it live. But like I said, every Thursday, we're going to be going deep on symbolism and how you can use it. We're going to teach you to become the operator, okay? Not an observer anymore. Observer is the thoughts that you're giving. But what if you can understand that? You've been chosen. What if we're talking about symbolic operated training? They use it to control. We're going to use it to liberate. I'm going to teach you how to use the Mayat to liberate, and along with all other stuff. And when we're talking 83 cents a day for learning and teaching, come on now. 83 cents a day. That's it. And and we're going to be doing it. So screenshot this. Make sure you join us Thursday at 7 p.m. September the 4th. We'll be there a couple of hours. When you go into the Patreon, you will see a link for the Patreon. You will see a link that will take you to the live because you can't see it until you log in. Make sure you get the inner sanctum access. And I can't wait. Every week. Tuesday, we're going to go. Every Tuesday when y'all come here, we're going to talk about it on the outside, but I'm going to give you enough. But then you're going to know that Thursday, we're going to take it to the next level every Thursday. And then some Wednesdays and maybe some Saturdays when I have Billy and a lot of them people come in there and teach them stuff that they don't talk about on the outside. They're all going to come. We're going to do this stuff, right? So the access is there. And it's nothing, and again, if the 83 cents a day is a problem, then we're going to elevate. We have to, people, all of us. I get it, but don't talk about it that way. Just say the timing is not there. It's not right. Okay, maybe next time, whatever, but it's not your reality for the future. Not anymore. Absolutely not. And as long as you can hear voices and hear things and understand knowledge and logic, you can change that. Just a little bit. Nobody's saying you're going to be rich tomorrow. No, I don't believe that. I'm not going to put that out there, but I do believe success is wherever you measure it and wherever your comfortability is and wherever your life, because we all don't want the same thing. Success for somebody else could be just sitting under a tree all day, enjoying the weather and never worrying about these bills, right? Because we all know tomorrow, if everybody got a new car, we're going to be thanking God for it. We're going to be like, oh, I got a blessing and blessing. 6 months later, we're going to be telling all the same people that you told about the car, but look at all these bills. I got bills. So when do the bills or the blessings turn to bills? What if they just stay blessings? That's what we want to do. We want them to stay blessings and not become bills. All right. That's the whole key. That's where we're going. And right there, I want to say to you, as we close this part out, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. I hope that you enjoyed, learned, gathered, empowered, got information to deal with, to understand, because a lot of people will walk over any title that has symbolism. A lot of people won't even watch it because they think symbolism is the other stuff that you see. Somebody's talking about what did, the Super Bowl mean? Oh, what did Beyonce do in this dance move and all that? Oh, she's invoking symbolism, right? and it's working on you. They're invoking the same stuff. They're using it for a different tool. But what if you know that? What if you can shield from it? What if you watch it and then don't watch it anymore? Because you're going to, you know what? I know what you're doing. Nah, you can't have that. You can't take my soul that way, because they don't need permission. They don't have to walk up to you and say, hey, can I have the soul? But when they tap way back into the unconscious and you don't even know it's happening and you're just staring there, and then they program our children from Disney or Fantasia's every 5-year release, and go look at Fantasia really closely. I'm talking second, minute per minute. Watch you see the entities. Watch you see the little messages to your children. Don't mind their parents. And it's there. It's there. But we don't pay attention to it because it's the babysitter. We'll sit them in front of the TV and be like, hey, go watch Fantasia. Let's sit them in front of the TV. But whatever. All right. So, I'm going to put the link back up. Hang on. All right. So, anyway, so the Patreon link is right there at the bottom. We're talking about the luminous inner sanction. Ancient symbols wasn't decorative. They were operative. We're going to talk about mystery schools taught us how to activate the archetypes. We're going to use it. Today's elite are trained in the same symbolic mechanics. What if you do it? Brands use it to code us like modern day spells. But if you're going to do it for right, you can do it. So screenshot that right now. And Thursday at 7:00. Make sure you come in there. And if you miss it, I'll reload the video later. So we'll start archiving. So all our new stuff is going toward this rate, so that we can tap in and all those things. And pretty much. Okay. So he got it. Let me take it off the screen, and hope to see you there. And it's all personal too. You can ask me any questions. We can see each other. It's a small inner group. And so we just have a great time. We can talk. I'll be on the screen. And if you say something, we can got a Q&A thing system that it can put in there. Everybody see the questions you're asking. Ask all the questions. Do all the interruption you want, because it's for us to grow. We just go there. Okay. And again, 83 cents a day. Just think about it. 84, maybe 84 cents. That's all. And I just break it down to that minute number. Okay. Make sure, again, the inner sanctum. But I love you guys. I really do. I love each and every one of you. I love what I do. I love where we're going. I love how we're going to get there. Okay. And everything else. And pretty much today, end my 30-day juicing tonight, and 37 pounds down. Okay. In a month, no blood pressure medicine, all those things. And diabetic medicine gone, all that the doctors and them took me off. So now I got to incorporate a few things. And so a lot of this is a pound of fat stuff. So a bunch of these are gone, and I'm happy. Now I just got to continue, and I expect, as I'm lifting, and some of it to come back just a little bit, but a little more healthy, and just do that. But anyway, I'm in a good place. And it's all good. So anyway, I love you guys. And it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege talking to you tonight. I'll see you Thursday. And then we will be doing a lot of private stuff in the Patreon as a community. We're going to start discussing things. So, but you can go back and look at some of the older stuff. But hence going forward, nothing will be as it was ever again. And we're going to knock this thing out, and pretty much. But I love each and every one of you. And also to my haters, I love you too. And if you're here every week hating on me, you're really a fan. You're just critical. You're really a fan. Because I get people come here every week hating on me. You'll see the comments after the video. And I used to get petty about it, because now I'm learning more. I'm going, no, they're just fans. They're just critical. Because they got to love me to keep watching, right? Or something. And what really does the best is when they type something like, let's say we've been here an hour and 14 minutes. The beautiful part is when they timestamp something that says 45 minutes and 40 seconds, and they say something like, I can't stand this dude. 40 seconds. So you've been there 45 minutes and 40 seconds to come to the conclusion. And then when I see them do it again, so I love it. I love you. I love you because you make me better. And then you also make me say, it's a small matter. It really is. We're not going to worry about it. But anyway, I love y'all. So I'll see y'all as we get to where we're going. All right. So love you.
Welcome, truth seeker. You are no longer asleep. I am Luminous, the Owl of Truth. The world is blind, but you have opened your eyes. Welcome to the fire of esoteric knowledge and truth. You are now one of the awakened. You are now luminous. Welcome to the rebellion. Welcome to truth versus authority.